Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. So as you can see, this is episode number 4 about modal verbs. In the previous episode we talked about modal verbs of possibility like may, might or can, okay? In this episode we are going to see modal verbs of advice. This man should go home. He should go home. He should sleep at home. He did not hear me. Okay, now let's see a very simple dialogue between Mike and John. Mike, I feel tired these days. What should I do? What should I do? John, well, you should take rest. Now here, as you can see, Mike is telling his problem. He's telling his problem to John. What is his problem? Is that he feels tired, like this man, okay? He feels tired, fatigue, okay? Tired, okay? And that's it, just telling his problem. No, he's telling his problem and asking for advice, What should I do? John, well, you should take rest. You should take rest. Now, John is giving advice, okay? Is giving advice. Now here, as you can see, the modal verb we are concerned with is what? Is should. Either for asking for advice or for giving. This is asking with question. Should I? There is inversion. Should I? Here you should. Okay, this is not a question. You should take rest. Okay, you should take rest. Okay, so the modal verb, as I told you before, is should. So we use should for advice. Now, is this the only advice that John can give? No, there are so many pieces of advice that John can give. For example, John can also say, you ought to sleep well, okay? You shouldn't stay up late. You should sleep early, better, okay? You had better relax. So as you can see here, we have other modal verbs of advice. Not only should, we can also use, for example, ought to, okay, as you can see, or shouldn't. So should or shouldn't, negative, okay? Also had better, okay? Had better, okay? You had better relax. And as I told you before, all these modal verbs are followed by a verb in infinitive. As you can see, sleep, stay up, and relax. Verb in infinitive, okay? So here, for advice, not only should, we can also use ought to or had better, okay? So these are also modal verbs for advice, okay? Modal verbs of advice, okay? Ought to, had better, or should. Should, as you can see, we can use it in negative and in question, okay? In question or negative form. But ought to and had better most of the time with the affirmative sentence, okay? Affirmative sentence, okay? So here we can say you should take rest or you shouldn't stay up late, okay? As you can see, you ought to sleep and you had better relax. Affirmative, okay? All right, so these are the modal verbs for advice, okay? Now let's see a very simple exercise together, okay? All right, here as you can see, we have some people with certain problems. For example, here we have your friend. Your friend spends a lot of time chatting, okay? Number 2, Mike has an exam next week, okay? An exam next week. And your brother is addicted to fast food, okay? To fast food, okay? So here we have these people with such problems. Try to give them advice using these modal verbs, okay? Had better, should or shouldn't, and or ought to, okay? Now take a minute, pause, and try to do this alone, then we do it together, okay? Okay, so here what can we say? In number 1, very simply, we can say you. So here you are talking to your friend, you can tell him you. Now here, spending a lot of time chatting. Is it good? Is it good or not good? For sure, it's not good, especially for health. So here, very simply, we can say you shouldn't. Why? Because this is not good, okay? Spending a lot of time chatting is not good. So you shouldn't, negative, you shouldn't spend infinitive, not spend with S, not infinitive, spend a lot of time chatting, okay? A lot of time chatting. It's unhealthy, okay? You can say it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, which means it's not good for health, okay? It's not good for health and particularly for eyes. So this is the advice you can give to your friend, okay? You shouldn't, negative, okay? You shouldn't spend a lot of time chatting, okay? Number 2, Mike has an exam next week, okay? Has an exam next week. So you can give him an advice. Very simply, you can say, Mike, you. Okay, you. Here, it should be affirmative, either should, had better, or ought to. Okay, the same. So let's choose had better. Okay, so we can say you had better. For example, if you have an exam, what should you do? Revise your lessons. Okay, you had better revise infinitive, revise your lessons. You can also say you had better sleep well, because when you have an exam, it's better to sleep well. Okay, so you can also say you had better sleep well. Okay, you should revise your lessons, etc. So this is passable advice you can give to your friend. Okay, passable advice. Okay, all right, now let's move to number 3. Your brother is addicted to fast food. Is addicted to fast food. Okay, is this good, by the way? To be addicted to fast food? Fast food is unhealthy, is not good for health. Okay, it can cause obesity or can cause maybe stomach ache or whatever. Okay, so fast food is usually unhealthy, and therefore you should not eat fast food. Okay, so as long as this is not good, so it should be in negative. Okay, in negative, again we can say you shouldn't. Okay, in negative, you shouldn't eat out. You shouldn't eat out, which means outside. You shouldn't eat a lot of fast food, or you shouldn't eat fast food. Okay, all right, there is another possible one. So as you can see, this is negative. Okay, this is negative. We can also make it affirmative. For example, we can say you take ought to. For example, you ought to at home, should eat at home, or you ought to eat at home better. Okay, better for health. Okay, so these are 2 passable pieces of advice you can give to your friend. Okay, you shouldn't eat fast food, or you ought to eat at home better. Here you can add you shouldn't eat fast food. It is, or eat unhealthy. Okay, so you shouldn't eat fast food, eat unhealthy. These are 2 passable pieces of advice you can give to your brother. Okay, so these are only examples of how we can use modal verbs of advice, okay, to give advice. Now, these are pieces of advice. They also sound like, we can say, opinions. So these ones can be used for, we can say, advice, or you can also say to some extent opinions. Okay, because when I say you shouldn't spend a lot of time chatting, it's unhealthy, this is like I am giving you my opinion. My opinion is that it's not good to spend a lot of time chatting because it is unhealthy. So it is advice and at the same time like opinion. Okay, like opinion. You had better revise your lessons. Like, I think that revising lessons is good for you to get high marks. So this is kind of opinion. Okay, you shouldn't eat fast food, it's unhealthy. So this is just like my opinion. For me, it is better to eat at home, So advice or opinion. Okay, so had better, should, shouldn't, ought to for advice, or to some extent opinions. Okay, to some extent opinions. Okay, all right, this is all that I can say for today's episode. I hope you find this very easy to understand. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to mention that in a comment. Have a good time and goodbye.